But they hear what the people they talk. What you get, I shall kill it till love. This is love, and I wanna get another one. I go take and do it in I love. Waiting you love, oh. Maybe waiting I love, oh. Waiting I love, I go do what we done my heart, oh. Go no be vodka. Mr. Money Changer. But when I know the ways that Mr.
You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip back to the promised land. On this happy trip back to the promised land.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Conversation Beyond Borders, brought to you by HYT African TV. I'm your host, Kiki, and we are still in the Ghana month. We are still celebrating Ghana Independence Day. We had our independence on the 6th of March, 1957. And so tonight we want to discuss the Ghana we know today, years after independence, from the vision of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah to the current leadership under President John Dramani Mahama. Ghana continues to reflect on its progress, challenges, and future directions. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got two amazing panelists that will share their thoughts on this discussion tonight. But just as we do it, let's go for a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, I'll introduce my guests for the show. Stay with me.
That dream of studying and working abroad has been made much accessible to everyone, including you. So worry less about how you're going to get there, because we always make it happen. This is StepFinders Ghana Limited. We offer a highly professional guidance and support system, both in your university and visa application process. StepFinders Ghana Limited is a highly trusted agency of the University of the West of Scotland, one of the largest modern universities offering a range of academic, social, and sporting facilities. You can apply for undergraduate, master's and PhD in business and creative industries, education, social sciences, computing, engineering, physical sciences, health, and life sciences. Come through StepFinders, and for your studies, you get yourself a laptop or a £500 gift voucher. Call on +233 598 4888 04. WhatsApp on +44 7404 711 049. Send us an email or visit our website for more information.
Ebusia sa wo mani sika ifi America memu akofidie enka ni se gya utipa ya kra if say Pay Angel ediasem panaba Pay Angel se mani sika fi America eko Ghana Nigeria anase Kenya wasemantem de mani je ni kaso nkoko ane se obreju mebia enka ho ena wonsan chia sika biara eka de wo mani ne pe ho Ani, zero stress and no hidden charges. Yes, sign our rater a dance ankasa. Into what trend download the Pay Angel app nene or Google Play Store and also Apple Store. Then yes, you can Pay Angel, global payment, local simplicity.
Thanks for joining me, and sorry about earlier. We had a little bit of a technical problem. So, like I said, tonight we are discussing the Ghana we know today. And joining me are Mr. Kit Yolson, chairman of the PPP UK, and Mr. Emmanuel Issa Abdu, the NDC UK chapter youth organizer, and also the deputy national youth organizer, Hopeful. Mr. Kate will join us later because he's just sending a text that he's running a bit late. So I'm going to start with you. Thank you so much, Mr. Emmanuel. Thanks for joining us on Conversation Beyond Borders. How are you?
I am good. How are you too? Good evening to you and good evening to your lovely listeners and viewers.
I'm well, thank you. Well, for context, can you tell us who you are, Mr. Emmanuel?
Absolutely. My name is Emmanuel Issa Abudu. Earlier, you said I was the UK youth organizer. I'm actually the USA chapter youth organizer of the Great NDC. I'm a two-term youth organizer. This is my second term. I've been the youth organizer since 2016. And this actually almost done with my second term. Currently in Ghana, helping with the agenda to push the agenda of the president, which is in the person of His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, to spread the good news of his project, his vision, and some of the things that he has for us, not only in Ghana but also in the diaspora. So I also hail from the Upper East region of Ghana. I come from Bongo. I don't know if you've heard of Bongo, Kiki, but I come from Bongo and also Navrongo at the same time. So I'm a son of the Upper East. So yeah, that is basically a short introduction about myself.
Thank you, and thanks for the correction earlier. You are the chapter youth organizer of the USA. Thank you very much. So we are still in the Ghana month. We are reflecting on Ghana's Independence Day journey, or our independence journey from 1957. So looking back at the country today, would you say Ghana has fulfilled the promise of independence or fallen short of that vision?
Thank you very much for the question. To me, I feel like Ghana has actually made progress, even though we have not fully fulfilled the promise of independence. But there's a lot of promise in terms of what previous governments have done after President Kwame Nkrumah. I know politically we have built one of Africa's most stable democracies, which is a very important thing when it comes to independence. And it is also something that we should be proud of as Ghanaians, to be the first sub-Saharan African country to gain independence. But I also feel like independence, apart from our democracy that we have been able to maintain, we also need to deliver economic freedom. We need to deliver on jobs. We need to deliver on industrialization and prosperity for all ordinary citizens of Ghana. And that is what the current government, led by His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama, is doing together with his appointees. Many young people today, still struggle to get unemployment and limited opportunities. And these are caused by a lot of the missteps and the miscalculations from the previous government, I should say, unfortunately. So the task of our generation, is to complete the work of independence, which is what our president is doing with the support of the whole party and also the government. And that is why I feel leadership today, must focus on production, must focus on job, and must focus on inclusion and youth growth, and also not just about politics.
Right. Thank you very much. One of the most talked about events right now is how President John Dramani Mahama has reduced the scale and the cost of Ghana's Independence Day celebration. Is this responsible leadership in tough economic times, or does it really risk the weakening system of our national pride?
I actually think this is a very responsible leadership, especially when the country is going through economic difficulties. The leadership, must show discipline, and that is what is happening right now. We have to make some sacrifices in the meantime to be able to put the country back on track, so that we can enjoy the full benefits of the celebrations that we always had previously. I mean, cutting unnecessary costs while also preserving the dignity of the celebration is a sign of a matured government, and that is what the current government is doing. Nevertheless, patriotism also is not measured by how much money we spend on a parade. It is measured by how much we invest in the future of our people. And that is what His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama approach, on sending a message out there that national pride must also go together with, fiscal responsibility. I also am a little biased when it comes to independence celebrations because growing up in the north, we were always looking forward to it. I remember when we used to come, practice on how to match, seat match. You are selected from all the students, to represent your school. So it was something of a pride moment for us. And even though now we are not seeing most of that, especially at the national level, because I know in the districts and the regions, they still do these matches and things like that. I feel like on a national scale, that is not happening. And that is because of what I mentioned earlier, fiscal discipline. I think there will be a time that a full celebration will definitely be needed and also be resumed. We're about to celebrate our 70th anniversary next year, and I think that is an opportunity to celebrate big, and also celebration brings a lot of opportunities for market women to sell, hotel vendors to I mean hotels to get customers, transportation business booms. Spending on the economy actually also creates a lot of business opportunities for people. So I think in the 70th anniversary, we will all plead with His Excellency to make it a memorable one, because this is something that brings pride to its citizens, and we are all ready to celebrate our 70th anniversary from independence next year. So I think we are in the right direction, and hopefully next year things will improve and go back to what we used to do.
But what if it still remains the same as next year? Because we've got a lot of people. This is our pride. It's something that it's something we remember. It even though it's a past event, but that is our identity. It's
Right.
something that we pride ourselves in. And then all of a sudden we get a change of governance coming and then reducing costs, quote unquote, saying that is because there is economic hardship. So what if next year comes and it still remains the same?
I mean, I have always discussed with colleagues and friends of mine in government that um, reducing reducing the cost of the celebration is very important. And the reason why that is being done is because of the mess that we found ourselves when we came to power. And the celebration itself, because of the fact that it's a national pride, does not necessarily need to come out from the government's coffers. We have a lot of corporate bodies in the country that are benefiting from the policies and the improved economy, and the appreciation of the city and things like that. We can seek for sponsorship from these agencies or these corporate bodies to celebrate next year's 70th anniversary. It doesn't really need to come out from the coffers of the government. And I think from what they represent, some of these big companies that are in Ghana, from what they represent and the fact that they are Ghanaian owned businesses, I think they will come up and show up for this particular celebration. And so I think our government needs to reach out. I know they usually have a planning committee and things like that. That usually comes from the Chief of Staff's office. If we can reach out to these corporate bodies for sponsorship for our next year's events, start now. At least by the time we get to March of next year, we would have had something significant. I think if you look at previous spending patterns, it has always been hovering around 20 million Ghana cedis. This year was reduced to 1.5 million Ghana cedis. I think even one company can go ahead and even sponsor this whole celebration because of the fact that it brings that pride and at least puts us on the map for tourism purposes. We know what the year of return and tourism and things like that have brought to the country. So if we're able to market it well, together with the Black Star Experience Secretariat, the Tourism Ministry, I think we can make it big whilst reducing the cost on government. So I hope that is what we do. And I'll always put my voice out there, advise people that matter, to go that particular route to see how. I mean, we've done it before. During the COVID, people contributed huge amount of money, to support people. I mean, patients that were going through that particular pandemic. And I think this particular celebration is something that we should also take very seriously to be able to promote Ghana to the world, especially the fact that tourism is bringing in a lot of income.
Right. So what is the state of the nation right now from your perspective? Because you are in Ghana right now. Can you tell us the state of the nation after the Independence Day celebration? There were a lot of things happening. We had, for the first time, jerseys were being worn by people and all of that in a way of promoting our identity. But you're happy to be in Ghana right now. So what is the state of the economy?
To be very honest with you, this is the first time that I actually felt that people, especially the youth, were really, really, really proud of our independence celebration. I have been coming to Ghana since I left to the US in 2013. I've been coming to Ghana every year. And this is the first time that I've seen the youth willing to participate in the celebration. Like you mentioned, the JCs, people were purchasing JC with Ghana flags, walking the streets of Accra. And I know it happened in the rest of the country, holding events, Independence Day parties and things like that. Kiki, you and I, our experiences in the diaspora, what independence means to Americans and, people from the UK and Europe and things like that. For example, in the US, when there's independence celebrations, the kind of the way they celebrate it alone makes you feel so proud to be an American. And I think previously we've been doing that, but it got to a point where we're struggling a little bit in the previous administration. But now I think the pride is coming back. And the way President John Dramani Mahama is going about running the economy with the fiscal discipline, making sure that no excesses and things like that, I think they will get to a point where we'll get back on track to celebrating it as a whole country, making it a national event, whilst also reducing cost at the same time. Apart from the youth wearing JCs, you see students walking around singing, Ghana songs. I was actually in some events. I was in a restaurant, and then there was a Ghana national anthem that was played at a point. So that should tell you that Ghanaians are really proud of where they came from and how far that we have gotten to. So I think let's be hopeful. I think next year, President John Dramani Mahama will definitely make this a very memorable one for all of us.
Thank you so much. Dear viewers, we're going for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk about Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's perspective on national symbolism. Stay tuned.
For afibia muno, nipa mpempem a ewo akwantom ema ne sika ba fie be niema bi te se adansi ayaresa hoka adesua hoka efie sikatua aware hoka ena eyie ene de keka ho nanso ohaw kese ewo we mu nie kwan ben so na wo fa hu se botaye nti a wo ma ne sika no yedeye sa wo ma ne sika afa obi so de di sa adwuma we num no taaya yem hihie pa etoda eche na ahotoso biara eni so Wei enti na Pay Angel eden hyehyɛ sonko aba sikamanie mu a yɛto ne din direct to merchant remittance. Yɛtwa ne tia D2MR. Wei yɛ kwampa a wobɛtumi afa so ama ne sika ede ama ndwumako a wone wɔn di dwuma. Wa abra emfa odasani ana intemgyinani biara nsɛm na wakodi usika. Wobɛtumi afa D2MR so ama ne sika ama wadɔfo. San hyehyɛ so boa ndwumako nketewa na paa. Wɔ D2MR so no, wo siketua yɛ mprempren. Yɛngye wo hwee. Yɛma wo abotayam sɛ wo sika ɛkɔ bea a ɛwɔ sɛ ɛkɔ na ɛkodi dwuma a ɛwɔ sɛ edi. Pay Angel D2MR aba masikamania ayɛ memremre esan sɛ ɛmfa ho biem ne bea wo ana edwumako a oni omudi nsa wo so no ɛwɔ. Ye yintem gyinafo nyina firi hɔ na yama wadi dwa na wamma ne sika ntem so ne ahotoso mu. Hwehwɛ Pay Angel kyerɛ akwan ɛwɔ Google Play Store ana Apple Store. Tua mom direct. Ne kasa Pay Angel a na wagye so sɛ global payments, local simplicity.
Thank you so much for joining us and welcome back. Mr. Emmanuel, so Ghana is projected on the map of the world. One of the things that people get to know Ghana for is Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's legacy. So beyond the celebration itself, the Independence Day, do you believe Ghana today is living up to the vision of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah? I mean, his vision for the nation.
I actually think we are in terms of continuity. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah believes strongly, in symbolism and national pride, and I think we have been able to maintain that over the years, irrespective of, to be fair, irrespective of the government that has been in power. Dr. Kwame Nkrumah was a very practical leader. We all know that. And Nkrumah also invested heavily on infrastructure projects. Like we all know, we have seen it on roads, schools, factories, and huge infrastructure projects that we have benefited even after all these years. The Temamoto Way is an example that I've always been, making to colleagues, that it has stood the test of time and has shown that leadership goes beyond party lines. And his priority was nation building. So I believe, or I would say that, we have been able to maintain that momentum, even though, to be very honest with you, President John Dramani Mahama, I always call him the Nkrumah of our time, because he embodies the spirit of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. When it comes to infrastructure, we all know all over the country the infrastructure projects that are going on. The Big Push is one of the projects that I'm always proud to mention, that as an NDC party member, I'm so proud of. It has transformed the whole country. If you come to Ghana, I don't know when last you were in Ghana, Kiki, but if you come to Ghana, there's so much traffic going on, not because of anything, but because the roads are being expanded, roads, potholes are being filled, new construction is going on and things like that. So I think President John Dramani Mahama continues the legacy of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. We all, yes, go ahead.
So I was about to say, in your opinion, we've been through transition of governance every time. And so has any leader since independence been able to match or surpass the level of the transformational impact Dr. Kwame Nkrumah left us?
No. To be honest with you, I think Dr. Kwame Nkrumah remains the most transformational leader in Ghana's history.
So what seems to be our problem or the challenge?
I think, first off, I'll say poor leadership. And we all saw it happening when President Akufo-Addo took over. We all saw the what's the word that I'm looking for? We all saw the intentions and the clear agenda that they were trying to push to, sidestep Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's legacy. I think poor leadership caused all our problems. And that is something that we should, as Ghanaians, we should never let happen again. We fell for the tricks of MPP. They came to power, promised everything, promised heaven on earth. And then when they got to the presidency, things changed. We saw the excess spending. We saw how the president was flying in private jets all over the world on taxpayers' money. We saw the indiscipline in the system, inflated and ballooned projects and contracts. We saw how cronies of the president were grabbing contracts left, right, center. As of now, there are a whole list of previous appointees that are being prosecuted right now due to corruption-related or corruption allegations, which is a very, very, very serious, should I say, black spot on our history. And like I said, we as Ghanaians have the responsibility on ourselves and also on our future children and grandchildren to prevent that from happening again. Everybody in their leadership style, but this particular administration that just left or handed over to President John Dramani Mahama has actually been the worst in the history of Ghana, and we are all witnesses to it. That is why this current government is doing all that is doing to fix the mess of the previous administration, and also take us to make Ghanaians have better lives, and also better lives for our children and for also our future. So I think it's just a leadership challenge that we need to, we need as Ghanaians, we need to make sure and have the responsibility to make sure that it does not repeat itself.
Well, critics also say that the only thing the NDC has done right now is to stabilize the dollar, and that they are not seeing any project, anything going on. So what do you say about that?
I mean, even let's say that is a fact. Let's assume that is even the fact. Stabilization of the currency has really benefited Ghanaians even more than everything that the previous administration did. We saw the dollar at 17 cedis. I mean, I was in the US sending money back home, and it wasn't just about the amount of money that was being received in Ghana, but it was about the value of the currency. You have 17 cedis for $1, but what can you do with the 17 cedis? And how many people did it? It collapsed businesses. Market women were ballooning prices because they were also buying at higher prices. It affected every part of the economy. So let's even say that is even a fact. The dollar stabilization at least now gives businesses forecast. They can forecast and know that, okay, when I project my quarterly expenditure and my quarterly cost benefits, at least I know the currency is going to be stable, so I'll be able to plan for how my business should grow. That alone is a big thing. Apart from that, Kiki, we do know of the projects that are going on right now. We have seen that the Agenda 111 that the previous administration started, President John Dramani Mahama is continuing with those projects. Like I mentioned earlier, the big push project is another one. The establishment of Gold Board is one that is also bringing us a lot of foreign returns. Last year we did 8 months. It brought in about $8 billion into the economy. Even though the government is not able to employ everybody at this time, but steps are being made to get us there. The IMF program that the previous administration put us in has actually put us in a tight corner where even to employ or to hire people in security agencies, for example, recently there was all this backlash about security agency employment and things like that. All those limitations are due to the mismanagement of the previous administration. So I think, like I always say, let's give some time. President John Dramani Mahama is actually doing all that he can to, position us in a good place where when we exit the IMF program, a lot of things will have our leverage, our free, range to do a lot of employment, people employ our youth, create opportunities for them. Aside that, there was a creation of the Youth Development Ministry. Under the Youth Development Ministry, we do have the NEP, we do have Youth Employment, we do have Youth Authority, National Service Secretariat. These agencies alone have created a lot of opportunities for the young people in the country. Youth employment, for example, there are a lot of models there that our youth are benefiting from. Youth Authority, we have a Juma Rural project, national apprenticeship projects, and things like that. So I think in the short period of time, we are not yet on in the second year. This is just a year and a few months since President John Dramani Mahama took over.
But
And
you promised Ghanaians more. So
yes,
it looked like they were thinking in the first probably 3 or 4 weeks of your term, you were going to change things. So what is happening?
I mean, we saw the discipline that President John Dramani Mahama put in the system, especially in governance when he took over. We promised a lot of things. I know. I mean, like every institution, it takes time to get everything done. President John Dramani Mahama has done in his 1 year, I can boldly say, more than what NPP did in their 4
Can
years.
you mention some of the things that he has done?
So now he has cut costs of. I mean, we have seen how the appointees have all sacrificed. The traveling expenses have been cut down. Appointees no more travel on business class.
Is that supposed
Recently,
to be an achievement?
yes, it is, because that saves us a lot of money. If we might think that is a little out of the lot, but it saves us a lot of money.
What
The
of the
second thing,
unemployment rate in Ghana and the hardship that people are talking about?
yes. So, like I said, unemployment is always going to be a problem that we'll be discussing forever. There's no government that will come to power and employ everybody. But the fact that there's improvement, the fact that people are being employed in agencies. I know some agencies that employ 2,000 people just within the 1 year. 2,000 people, some have employed 5,000, some have employed 3,000. Ghana Free Zones has employed a lot of people. Youth employment has employed, we saw recently they took some people even outside the country to go work for foreign governments and things like that. The Ministry of Finance has given clearance for 5,000 security personnel to be hired. Other agencies like the Ministry of Trade, the Ministry of Tourism, it has, and apart from the fact that the government will employ directly, it has created opportunities for the young people to also take their future into their hands. For example, when I mentioned the National Apprenticeship Program, that program alone gives the youth the opportunity to learn a skill and also, to employ and hire people. It gives you a grant. It gives you money to be able to start businesses on its own. So it's not always about employment, government employing the youth directly. The government creates the opportunity for the youth to be able to also take matters into their own hands and also employ other people. So the opportunities are there. Even though, majority of our students, when they finish school, always want to be, in the formal sector working for the government. I think it's time that we also think outside the box. Think about businesses that we can do and look for programs that the government is offering so that we can benefit for these programs. There was a huge budget that was allocated to the National Apprenticeship Program, the Juma Rural. A lot of youth that did not go to school that are studying hairdressing. I mean, that are going into hairdressing, tailoring, carpentry, things like that. All have opportunities available to them. I think one of our big problems that we are facing as a country, and as I must admit, is the fact that information sometimes is limited. We do not know what is out there for us. And I think our agencies need to step up, make sure that these opportunities are being put out there for people to really know what is there for them to be able to partake in. If you go to my village in Bongo, and I think I feel if you go to my village in Bongo, for example, and ask some unemployed people that, hey, what is a Juma Rural? What is a national apprenticeship? I'm not sure they'll be able to tell you exactly what it is. And I feel like the information needs to get down to the roots for them to be able to take advantage of these opportunities. So as for the unemployment problem, we are getting there. We'll definitely, when we exit the IMF program, I think more opportunities will be presented. We have been put in a tight situation where we need to, balance between how much we spend and inflation and fiscal discipline and things like that. So once we are able to get our freedom from IMF, I think we'll be able to do a lot for the youth of this country. Aside that, there are other opportunities out there. Ghana, especially with the fact that we are from the diaspora, Ghana Free Zones has opportunities for people that want to come and invest into the country. The diaspora office also has a lot of opportunities out there. We get tax incentives, we get tax waivers for us to even come in through the Ghana Free Zones enclave. We also have, which other agencies? I'll say Gold Board, for example. Gold Board is issuing license for illegal, to miners, not illegal miners, to miners, for them to do the right thing. The Gold Board and the Minerals Commission to go out there so that we'll stop destroying our environment. So we are gradually fixing all the problems one at a time, sector to sector and agency to agency, which I think eventually, after the 4 years, Ghanaians will testify that this current government is doing very well.
Right. So you were the diaspora office recently.
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm happy you are from the diaspora, so you may try to elaborate us a bit on what is the office about? What is happening? If somebody from the diaspora wants to do something, is that the right office to go? Tell us your experience over there.
Okay, so we do have a diaspora office at the office of the president that basically is the point of, should I say, the first point of contact when diasporans want to move to Ghana to invest in Ghana.
So it's all about investments.
Well, partly, and also they have other responsibilities that they take care of. I don't know if you follow the news, but on Monday, about 400 people, 400 diasporans were sworn in. Black Americans and people from the diaspora were sworn in as Ghanaian citizens. That's
Ghanaians,
also one of the responsibilities of the diaspora office. So usually when you come to Ghana, I know I'm from Ghana, but somebody who is born in the US or in the UK that wants to move to Ghana, the first thing you are looking for is information. Where do I start from? What do I do? What are some of the requirements that are needed if I want to start a business? That is what the diaspora office is for. You go in there, you ask them questions, they'll direct you to the right agencies to invest in. That way you don't get scammed or you don't get wrong information, and then at the end of the day you blame the government. So that is the office that is meant for that. Previously they were also in charge of year of return, beyond the return, inviting the Black Americans and also the Black diasporans to come back home, settle down, invest and things like that. But it has also gone beyond that now. It has gone beyond the celebrations and things like that. It has now evolved into investment opportunities, how the country can benefit from some of the programs that the government has put in place. Sometimes if you go to their office and you see the policy documents that they are going through and how they explain it and break it down into smaller information for us to grasp, it is really, really, really helpful. So I advise diasporans out there, if you want to come home to Ghana, that should be your first point of contact. And then they'll point you to where you need to go, help you with the processes, and make things very easy for you if you are settling down or you're investing in Ghana.
Right. Let's touch on the challenges of Galamsey. Recently, a friend of mine, she's doing a little bit of research around the Galamsey areas. And then she tells me that there were a lot going on regarding health issues. Now, I just want to ask, why has it been so difficult for successive government to control Galamsey? Because before the NDC came into power, they were so passionate about putting a stop to illegal mining, spoiling our waters and all of that. But it looked like, I don't know, you are in the best position to tell us because you are in Ghana. So you may tell us what is really happening so that at least we that we are here will be able to know that there is hope for controlling Galamsey.
Absolutely. I think Galamsey, I should say, is very, very difficult to control because it is not just an environmental problem. I think personally, I feel it is an economic and also a political problem. Many young people, enter illegal mining because they lack jobs. And I know you mentioned something about unemployment earlier. So the first step in resolving the Galamsey issue is by creating opportunities for our youth to be able to get jobs and also have opportunities that they can also help others. At the same time, powerful interest sometimes, protect illegal operators, and it has become very difficult to fish them out. When people that are deep or higher up in government are part of the Galamsey problem, then it becomes very, very difficult to fight. We saw a lot of it, especially in the previous administration. I'm happy that, when President John Dramani Mahama came into power or was sworn in, he made it clear that any appointee or any government employee found to be engaged in illegal mining, will answer to him. And I think that was one step that he took that actually put us on a pedestal to be able to, prevent people from using their positions or their power to engage in these illegal activities. So the solution, I know, cannot only be enforcement. It cannot alone be enforcement. It has to do with job creation, alternative livelihoods, and a strong political will. That's the only way that I think we can address these economic drivers behind Galamsey. If not, I feel the problem is going to continue. So hopefully we get there. I know a lot of the agencies have created task force, to fight.
Is it working? Is it
I,
working?
I mean, to a point, it does. If you remember previously, we saw pictures of videos of our water bodies and how it was,
Yes.
it was just a terrible scene. Now these same places, when you go there, you see that the water is very clean and clear. So I think there's improvement. If there was no improvement, I would have had that same situation going on. Just that the problem, it goes beyond just individuals just going to do Galamsey, go to get some land and start digging and things like that. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond it's actors that are involved. There was a recent video of I think it was Joy News documentary that exposed some Galamsey operations that were going on in some districts, and I think it was disappointing because as a district assembly, or should I say municipal assembly, if you charge people a fee, and I actually understand that this is an internal generated fund for some people, for some districts. They give you licenses that they come up with and allow you to go in there and go do Galamsey because they want the idea behind it which is to generate funds for the district to be able to create developmental projects in the region. I mean, the district is very, very commendable, but the way that the generation comes is also another problem. So we need to look at it holistically, and encourage people that are into mining, that are doing illegal mining, to go through the process and get licenses to be able to do it officially without having to be watching your back when you are doing it. The process also needs to be eased up a little bit for miners to be able to acquire these licenses so that they can go through training, they can go through the appropriate, or should I say the correct way of doing mining. That way it reduces all these illegal mining and then saves our water bodies and the environment at the same time.
Right. So we talked about the unemployment rates at which some of our youth are engaged in this Galamsey. So do you think that using the same youth as a watchdog for all those Galamsey sites to pay them, is it going to benefit the control of it?
I think it will. It will. And I actually think that is actually something that is actually going on right now. If you remember, President John Dramani Mahama mentioned that if you report anybody that it has gold and they are trying to smuggle it, or because these illegal miners, when they get the gold, you cannot sell it to the gold buyers because you have to justify where you got the gold from. So that is already illegal gold that you are even holding, and even blowing the whistle on it or reporting that oh, this I know this person that has like 1 ton of gold lying in their house. They're trying to smuggle it or they're holding it illegally. That alone even is a crime. So encouraging people, and I know President Mahama said when you report it, you get like, I don't remember if it's 10% or 20% of the value of the gold. So when you make the youth watchers, or should I say keepers of their environment, they will be able to improve the situation. They'll be able to point out, okay, this is what is going on here, that is what is going on here. I think the task force works based on intelligence, and majority of the time their intelligence comes from the people that live in the communities. So they are already involved. Just that sometimes also, when they are being bribed, or when they also get something from the miners, then they also turn a blind eye. This is something that we have seen happen in Ghana so many times. Sometimes if you're in a position of power, and somebody gives you something small, then you turn the other way, and then you allow it to continue. So it will take, just beyond people watching and people reporting, it will take a strong will and patriotism. And going back to one of the reasons for our independence, be proud of being a Ghanaian, try to protect the environment from being destroyed. Things like that are all reasons why we should all have that national pride. And when somebody wants to bribe you, to turn a blind eye, you stand on your on business and tell them, no, this is something that is wrong. We need to stop this. And that is something that the US and our developed countries have been able to build over the years. I've never been stopped by the police in the US and try to take money out of my wallet to give to them, because that alone is even a crime. So I think we'll get there one day. And involving the youth absolutely is one thing that we should try to do, if we are not doing it already. Try to involve them in the various communities, try to involve them in the process of protecting their own environment.
Thank you so much. Let me ask you one more of this question before we go on a commercial break. You are in Ghana, so I'm taking that as an advantage to ask you some questions and trendy issues. So how is Dumsor? Because I've got people talking about Dumsor is back, Dumsor is this, Dumsor is that, but you are in Ghana, we are here. We may not really know what is going on. So from the horse's own mouth, can you tell us how Dumsor, or is there Dumsor or no Dumsor?
I actually do not think there's Dumsor right now in Ghana. When I came to Ghana before the elections, which was somewhere around September, when the NPP was still in power, the light could go off continuously for like in a week. It could go off every day for like 6-7 hours and then come back on. Sometimes it go off in the night when you are sleeping and things like that. Now, when in recent times, the lights have gone off a few times, and I actually asked myself, what's going on? Is this Dumsor that is coming back, or is there a problem somewhere? But when you go on they have a power app that you buy electricity from. When you go there, it actually tells you the maintenance they are doing, if they are replacing the transformer or something like that. They tell you the areas that are going to be affected. So even before the lights go off, it's on the app. You see it there. I think the only problem is the PR and the communication. When those days when lights are going off, you see that it will be announced on TV that, okay, this particular time it will go off for this particular number of hours and things like that. If we're able to do similar thing as a government or as a ministry of energy, if we're able to inform our citizens way ahead of time that we'll be doing some maintenance on this particular transformer, or we'll be replacing a particular transformer at this time in these particular areas, people are aware. Because I have the power app, I'm not sure my grandmother or my my grandfather sitting somewhere has the power app to know that this is going on. So when it happens, they automatically assume that it is Dumsor, because they do not have any information coming in that you are doing any maintenance anywhere. So I think we need to improve upon our communication and the way, or even send text messages. In the US, we get automatic text messages from agencies all the time. I don't know if we have that system yet, but I think when we do, it will help us a lot to always let people be aware way ahead of time, so that they don't assume that Dumsor is back. But I don't think Dumsor is back right now.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go for a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we'll compare party approaches to economic governance.
After a long day at work, there's one thing still on your mind. I need to send money home, and fast. With just one tap on the PayAngel app, you unlock your true power. Zero fees, lightning fast transfers, maximum impact. You soar across cities and oceans. Faster, safer, stronger. Powered by PayAngel, where every transfer is a mission of love. Back home, your family feels it instantly. Joy, hope, and pride. Because when you send with PayAngel, you're not just sending money, you're sending care. Be the hero back home with PayAngel. Zero fees, instant transfers, maximum impact.
Thank you for staying with us and welcome back. Don't forget we are live on HYT African TV and across all social media platforms. Mr. Emmanuel, looking back on Ghana's economy today, how would you describe the economic governance, the governance styles of the NDC, NPP, and CPP? Which style has historically promoted growth, stability, or inclusion when you look at the governance, the successions?
I think every political party comes with its own, political, tradition. Example, we've had, different kinds of economic philosophies over the years. The CPP tradition, for example, under Nkrumah emphasized, strong state leadership. They concentrated on development, industrialization, and things like that. The NDC tradition, has focused on social, democratic interventions and policies. We have, we always try to balance economic growth, with social protection and, inclusion and things like that. The NPP tradition before, emphasize on, private sector-led growth and market, liberalization and things like that. But now you find that even though we as NDC are social democratic, policies, we have actually adopted majority of the NPP traditional styles, which emphasize on industrialization and market liberalization and things like that. So historically, the NDC approach has often aimed to combine growth with social stability, and also ensuring that development benefits both the ordinary citizens and everybody else, and not just a few. So these are the different economic philosophies of all the parties. I mean, CPP, NDC, and NPP over the years. And I think this time NDC has adopted more of CPP style and also NDC style, including our social democratic style, which is why a lot of people are happy about what is actually going on right now in the country.
So has frequent changes in governance, helped in any way? From the NPP to the NDC, then back to the NPP and back to the NDC. And then one of the things that is a challenge is when one party does something, the other party doesn't continue.
Yes, that is actually. I'll start from your last point there. That has always been our problem in Ghana. Continuity has always been a very big problem when it comes to politics. NDC starts projects, NPP comes, abandons the project, starts his own projects, and within 8 years they are not able to complete. NDC comes back, we also start our own projects. That is not how to build a country. I'm glad that President Mahama has continued a lot of the projects that were started by the NPP, even though we're just 1 year and a few months into government. A lot of the policies and a lot of their projects, I should say, sorry.
Can you mention one or two of the projects that he has?
I mean, like I mentioned earlier, Agenda 111 is one of them. Some of the major road projects that he started, the expansion, the highway expansion from Accra to Kumasi, not just the one that is about to be constructed from the Agenda 111. I mean, sorry, the big push. The Accra Kumasi expansion dualization project has been continued. The only project I feel was a waste, which President John Dramani Mahama said he wasn't going to continue, which we all heard. We even Ghanaians called for it, was the National Cathedral Project. But aside that, the hospitals are being built, schools that we started, not even the NPP, we started, and then the NPP abandoned. We have come and we are, still continuing those particular schools. These are projects that we need to continue, because these are things that we have invested so much money. These are projects that we have invested so much money in that we cannot just let go. And one of the big things that I always admire President Mahama on is the fact that he wants to continue a lot of the projects that the NPP started. I mean, if you are building a hospital, there should be nothing wrong for NDC to come and continue it, because the hospital will benefit your citizens. If you are building a school, there should be nothing wrong with President, John Dramani Mahama to continue. If you're building roads, these are things that affect us. So irrespective of who starts, it's always a good thing to continue. And I think that is one of the big things that NDC is doing, that is changing the game in the political world.
So if Ghana were to design a hybrid economic approach, taking the best from the NDC, the NPP, and probably let's go back to CPP, because, on Nkrumah's legacy, what would it look like?
I think we actually do need a hybrid system, a hybrid balance model between CPP style and NDC style, and then the NPP style, I would say. And when I say NPP style, I'm talking about the Nkrumah, the Kufuor era style, not the previous administration.
Which one are you adopting from Kufuor's era?
I think we need, so starting from CPP, right? We need Nkrumah's strategic vision for industrialization. That is something that we knew that even if Nkrumah had succeeded in, bringing Africa together, we know that what his main objective was to industrialize Africa. And if that had succeeded, if that vision had come to pass, that Africa would not be where we are right now. We would have been way ahead of even Europe and Americas, and then Asia and things like that. Ghana, I think we got independence the same time that South Korea got this independence. But the difference between South Korea and Ghana is that South Korea industrialized. They invested in creating more industries in their country to expand their economy, to create jobs for their people. Whilst we were in the process of we're going through a series of coup d'etats and fighting and things like that. That is why South Korea is where it is now, and Ghana is also where we are now. Singapore is an example. They industrialize their country, and then they find themselves as one of Malaysia. Yes, they are one of the most richest economies in the world, even though we started the same time as them. So industrialization is something that we need to, all of any government that comes to power needs to take. We also need the NDC style social policies, like projects for the vulnerable citizens. I don't know if you remember the national health insurance policy that we President Atta Mills started by making a one-time premium for everybody. We need social interventions like that. We need to expand opportunities. We need to privatize the energy sector, to drive investment and things like that, and innovation and things like that. So I feel not a little, but combining both styles will actually put Ghana very, very, very far, and it will push us to the level where we'll probably be the most developed country in Africa if we industrialize and also work with the private sector to be able to push our economy forward. The real solution is just discipline, economic management discipline, investment in productivity sectors, and also policies that create jobs for the youth. Jobs end up putting monies in people's pockets, and then they also end up developing themselves and also developing the country. So if Ghana should combine all these strengths, we can address our debt issues, and then also address unemployment and address our slow growth, which has been the main factors that has always been pulling us back over the years.
Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Dear viewers, let's go for a quick commercial break and we'll come back to wrap up.
That dream of studying and working abroad has been made much accessible to everyone, including you. So worry less about how you're going to get there, because we always make it happen. This is Step Finders Ghana Limited. We offer a highly professional guidance and support system, both in your university and visa application process. Step Finders Ghana Limited is a highly trusted agency of the University of the West of Scotland, one of the largest modern universities offering a range of academic, social, and sporting facilities. You can apply for undergraduate, master's and PhD in business and creative industries, education, social sciences, computing, engineering, physical sciences, health, and life sciences. Come through Step Finders, and for your studies, you get yourself a laptop or a £500 gift voucher. Call on +233 598 4888 04. WhatsApp on +44 7404 711 049. Send us an email or visit our website for more information.
Thanks for staying with us and welcome back. Mr. Emmanuel, so any last words? I can see the Deputy National Youth Organizer, Hopeful. Can I give you
Yes.
a minute or two to talk to us about it? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I'm still in the consultation stage. I have not officially declared to be in the race, even though a lot of the youth in Ghana have been reaching out to me to consider going for the Deputy National Youth Organizer position in Ghana. I think I'm so passionate about the NDC that when the youth call, you have no option than to, than to listen. So I'm still, a lot of we might have meetings here and there. We're talking to the stakeholders that are involved in the youth wing. We're talking to a few people that can strategically align with us to be able to make this vision come through. So at the right time, I would finally, make a decision as to whether I'm going all out or if I should take a step back and support somebody. So we're still in the consultation stage, even though the chances of me picking up the nomination form is very, very, very high. And my message to the youth out there that are watching and listening is we need opportunities for the youth. Our government is in power. We are patiently waiting for opportunities from our government. For the youth out there, people need to get the benefits of their government, and I'm always ready to serve. And I've heard the calls that are coming through. I've seen the messages, the meetings that we've been holding, and the consultations that we've been doing. I've heard it all, and since I've moved back to Ghana, I think the probability of us working together to make this particular agenda possible is very, very high. So the only thing that I will say, or my last words would be that the real question is not whether Ghana has potential. Ghana has a lot of potential especially the youth front. We clearly do, and the question now is how leadership can turn that potential into jobs for us, industry, and also the opportunity for the next generation. That is all that we are looking for as members of the youth. There are a lot of impatience and anger and frustration that is going on in the system right now, and I'll just entreat all the youth within the party, to exercise restraint, be patient, whilst we allow our leaders to do what they know best and create opportunities for us, whilst we also take advantage of these opportunities to grow ourselves, or to develop ourselves, and also help develop the country. So those are my last words. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your insight and perspective with us, with us on Ghana's journey and also the possibility for a bigger and brighter future. And then when you decide to go in for your position, we wish you all the best. And then we hope to have you again next time. Thank you for coming.
All right.
And
Thank
to
you
our
so much.
viewers, there's a special thing I want to do today. Today happens to be Mother's Day here in the UK. And we also have one of our beautiful women who has been a very supportive person on this show. Her name is Mrs. Rebecca Stone, Auntie Becky. We wish you a belated happy birthday and thank you so much for your advice. Thank you so much for staying tuned on this program, sharing, inviting your families to also watch the program. Thank you. And then we wish you a very, very happy Mother's Day. We owe you a bar of chocolate and a flower. So anytime you see any of us, please demand for your gift. And to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us on today's program. Remember, it is always conversation beyond borders. And up until next week, have a very good week ahead and also a good night.
You've been gone, it's an empty home. Come on back where you really belong. You are always welcome home, welcome home. You've been kept down for much too long. Stand up, please, and say I am free. Don't forget you are welcome home, welcome home. Come with me on this happy trip.